Something deep within you is urging you to keep moving forward, never looking back or giving that toxic cycle another chance. You can feel it. Your ancestors are rising, fiercely protecting you from forces that want to pull you back into an exhausting loop. If you're truly prepared for what's coming, take at least 12 minutes to watch right now. Like this message, subscribe and comment 77 to signal to the universe that you're open. Then, in your own words, comment, ready for what's next. This simple action unlocks immediate benefits and marks the beginning of a powerful new chapter. Chapter 1. You look back once, and it nearly broke you. You remember the old pattern all too well. Someone who promised change, but only served you the same heartbreak in new packaging. Maybe they texted in the dead of night, claiming they just needed to talk. Or perhaps they sweet-talked your family to get another foot in the door. In your longing for closure or companionship, you gave them a chance to explain, to prove they'd changed. But each time, the script repeated. Tension rose, subtle manipulations crept in, and soon you realized you were right back in the twisted drama you thought you'd escaped. Chosen ones often trust their love can heal damaged souls, but certain individuals are skilled at camouflage, weaving illusions that tug at your empathy. You got trapped in that snare, thinking you could rescue them if you just tried harder, prayed more, or sacrificed a bit of your own peace. The heartbreak was real. The confusion, relentless. People around you whispered, "Move on," yet your heart resisted, clinging to the faint hope that love or loyalty could fix everything. That's how you found yourself repeatedly glancing in the rearview mirror, driving dangerously close to that same old ditch. Meanwhile, each time you re-entered their orbit, your energy plummeted. You noticed you were either in crisis mode or numbly accepting unacceptable treatment. The emotional roller coaster left you drained and depressed. You managed to break free for a bit. Then a wave of nostalgia or pity would sweep in, unraveling your progress. Guilt weighed on you for not being strong enough to shut the door for good. Maybe you felt responsible for them, or you believed their sob stories. In truth, they banked on your big heart, knowing you'd open it even after they'd smashed it a dozen times. Then came the tipping point. Perhaps you saw the mask slip, some glaring proof of their deeper motives or the repeated nature of their destructive cycle. A moment of clarity shattered all illusions. God let you glimpse the spiritual forces behind their manipulations, showing you this was no ordinary conflict, but a scheme to drain your light. That shock brought you to your knees. No more illusions. No more heroic delusions about saving them. You realized that the only way to preserve your calling was to cut ties entirely. But even after that epiphany, you wrestled with doubt. Am I heartless if I refuse them now? You asked yourself. Your ancestors stepped in, firmly telling you to keep walking. They showed you glimpses of your future, a future that demands you remain unburdened by toxic baggage. They reminded you of every tear you shed and the righteous indignation that rose when you discovered the scope of the lies. They also highlighted your track record, how many times you'd extended grace, only to be slapped with betrayal. That was enough. Your soul concluded that you can't afford to glance back. Not even once. Now you're more resolved. You sense the cost of ignoring your gut. You get that your empathy is not for trifling with. Turning back means risking the momentum you've gained. Chosen ones are propelled forward by God's unstoppable plan, and looking back invites chaos to snatch your progress. Let the past remain behind you, not as an open door, but as a sealed chapter. The universe is setting you up for a new vantage point. No time for illusions or manipulative pleas. This is your turning point, never to be undone. Chapter 2. You're on the brink of a deliverance your ancestors fought for. You might think the scenario is just about cutting ties with a toxic individual, but it's deeper. Generations of prayers stand behind you. Your ancestors contended against oppressive forces for centuries, each one striving to pass on a slightly freer existence to the next. Now you're the carrier of that lineage. When your ancestors see you entangled with the same destructive patterns that enslaved them, they rise in holy fury, determined to shield you from repeating any more cycles of torment. You can almost imagine them forming a circle around your life, creating a force field, each ancestor chanting in unison, "No!" Manipulative presence will infiltrate your spirit realm again. Some of them have endured betrayal or have been tricked by cunning souls in their own time. They know the heartbreak intimately, and they're not about to let you become another casualty. So they prompt signs, dreams, messages, or intense gut feelings, warning you whenever you drift too close to the destructive gravitational pull of that person. And they're not just playing defense. They're orchestrating a grand deliverance. They rearrange circumstances so that even if you try to revert, everything around you bristles, telling you to stop. Perhaps each time you attempt contact, your phone glitches, or you get urgent obligations that snatch you away from the place of compromise. These synchronicities aren't flukes. They're your ancestral family at work, ensuring you remain on the path of freedom. They've toiled in the invisible realms to open new avenues for your growth, be it a job offer out of state or a sudden invitation from a supportive friend. Accepting these avenues is your best bet to keep distance from that old snare. You also sense an escalation in blessings. Doors that once were locked fling wide open, making you ask, why now? So abruptly? The answer: your ancestors have set the stage for your next level life. Freed from toxic entanglements, your spirit regains clarity. Freed from time-wasting drama, your potential soars. Freed from cyclical heartbreak, your heart reawakens to the divine calling you carry. Each new wave of favor affirms that your lineage insisted you not waste another day locked in a fruitless battle. They fought too hard to see you flourish in these times. Yet a small part of you might feel uneasy about the magnitude of good things rushing in. You recall your darkest hours, which foster humility but can also breed unworthiness. Dismiss that doubt. This avalanche of blessings is not unearned. It's a synergy of your personal breakthroughs and your ancestors' relentless intercession. You better believe your name is on this spiritual inheritance. The moment you finalize your stance, choosing to break ties with manipulative energies for good, your ascendants expedite your rightful portion. This synergy magnifies your breakthrough, turning adversity on its head. The final note is that the war is bigger than you. By standing firm, you're also healing generational wounds. Every time you say no to an abuser or a manipulative pattern, you cut off the karmic toxins that tried to travel down your bloodline. Each boundary you enact is a statement. No generational curse will latch onto you, warrior descendant. The deliverance you secure extends to your future legacy, rewriting the family story. And all your ancestors echo in one voice. Yes, child, keep going. We had your back then. We have it now. And we will ensure you never lose what you've gained to these devouring spirits again. Chapter 3. You must ignore the guilt trip and emotional blackmail tactics in your attempt to break away. Don't be shocked if manipulative tactics ramp up. Abusers just know how to poke at your soft spots. They'll dredge up old memories. Remember when I helped you that time? Or, we've come through so much together. Or they spin the pity narrative. I'm lost without you. Nobody cares about me. How can you abandon me now? They're masters at pressing emotional buttons that conjure guilt. But chosen ones, your mission transcends the illusions of emotional blackmail. If you don't sever these binds, you feed the very darkness you are called to illuminate. It's crucial to accept that not everyone lamenting their misfortunes is sincere. Some people weaponize vulnerability to gain control. They'll detail how their life collapsed the moment you pulled away, implying that reuniting with them is your moral obligation. Your empathetic heart might ache at their apparent suffering, but ask yourself, were they truly suffering all that time they inflicted misery on you? Did they hesitate when stepping on your boundaries? Likely not. Now, faced with losing their energy supply, they want to reel you back through staged tears and shaky confessions. One effective shield is clarity on your boundaries. Make it explicit, at least in your own mind, why you cut them off. List the ways they broke your trust or undermined your well-being. The next time you sense an emotional trap, call to memory those instances. This mental exercise reaffirms your reasons for holding the line, preventing the swirl of guilt from unhinging you. Because remember, you didn't block them to be cruel, You did it to protect your wholeness. Furthermore, watch how your body reacts when they contact you. Do your shoulders tense? Does your stomach knot? Or do you feel a sense of dread? Those are your intuitive alarm bells. Your body picks up on inauthentic or manipulative energies before your mind can rationalize them away. Chosen ones have heightened awareness, so trust these signals. Don't rationalize them away with, maybe I'm just being mean. No, your body is telling you that letting this person near your spirit again is dangerous. Also, remain vigilant about mutual acquaintances. They might approach you as intermediaries and saying, so-and-so is worried about you, or they want to apologize. Kindly but firmly shut it down. Often, these well-meaning or manipulated acquaintances have no clue about the depth of the harm that person caused. They might see themselves as peacekeepers, but real peace can only bloom from truth, not from ignoring destructive cycles. If the abuser wants real remorse and a brand new foundation, they'd have to do radical self-work away from you. Lastly, lean on your spiritual anchors. If guilt tries to devour your resolve, get into prayer or reflection. Let God remind you that your empathy shouldn't trap you in cycles of abuse. That empathy is better invested in people and projects that expand your calling, not entangle you in more heartbreak. Visualize yourself handing over the entire situation to the divine, releasing the compulsion to fix or save them. You can love their soul from a distance while still protecting yourself from further harm. In that abiding sense of peace, you'll discover the strength to keep walking forward, ignoring every bait of emotional blackmail. This stance is your gift to your future self, ensuring that no manipulative scheme can lure you away from the destiny waiting just a few steps ahead. Chapter 4. You're rising to a higher frequency that cancels old attachments. Stepping away from a toxic environment naturally upgrades your personal frequency. You might notice your appetite for shallow distractions fading, your tolerance for negativity dropping, and a newfound craving for deeper connections. When a chosen one casts off emotional vampirism, their energy rises, and with each step forward, they become less compatible with forces that once weighed them down. Low vibrational cycles thrive on despair, confusion, and conflict. Once you stand in clarity and hope, you stop feeding those energies, so your frequency rises. It's not just an idea. Your body may feel lighter, your mind clearer, your heart calmer. External signs may appear too. Animals gravitating toward you or strangers engaging you in unexpectedly positive ways. People sense your transformation, whether they can articulate it or not. This elevation can feel isolating sometimes. Old friends who revolve around drama may label you aloof or changed. You simply can't linger in low-energy circles. They might call you arrogant, but you know preserving your new height is vital, not optional. Meanwhile, you'll attract a fresh tribe that matches your elevated state. Perhaps in an online group, a local meetup, or a mentor you never imagined finding. Suddenly, rich, authentic conversations flow where they used to be rare. This is the universe aligning you with kindred spirits. Clinging to the old out of misplaced loyalty only hinders your progress. You also notice certain emotional triggers vanishing. When the manipulator's name surfaces, it no longer sparks the same pain. Memories that once drowned you in sorrow or anger lose their sting. That's the hallmark of rising frequency. Negative hooks can't latch onto a field vibrating above their level. Manipulative messages from old adversaries may now feel almost absurd instead of distressing. You've changed your emotional address, and they no longer know where to deliver their poison. Still, stay alert. An upgrade can attract new temptations in different disguises. The adversary may probe whether you'll compromise again. Keep your spiritual routines, prayer, journaling, meditation, consistent to anchor this new frequency so it isn't just a fleeting high. Even if you slip, you're no longer naive about how darkness tries to reclaim a chosen soul, so you can swiftly course correct. This higher frequency fosters clarity, purpose, and peace. Each day you move further from old attachments, solidifying the changes. Some observers will be intrigued and want to congratulate yourself. Others may try to tear you down. That's normal in spiritual growth. But you're unstoppable because those old chains no longer exist in your new dimension. Each day you hold this threshold, you become even more unstoppable. So embrace it and watch how powerful life becomes when you live above the reach of abusers and illusions. Chapter 5. You must channel your ancestral support to strengthen your boundaries. Your ancestors have shown up to protect you, and you don't want to squander their support by slipping into old vulnerabilities. You sense their guidance through dreams, intuition, or ancestral symbols appearing in your daily life. The key is channeling that protective force as you reinforce your boundaries, recognizing they're not mere onlookers but active participants in your emotional, mental, and spiritual defense. First, understand your ancestors. See both your past traumas and your future potential. They know how generational wounds made you vulnerable to toxic entanglements, yet they also see the blossoming destiny that demands a healthy, free version of you. Envision them encircling you in light, tapping into their centuries of wisdom and unwavering hope for your success. Through prayer or quiet contemplation, ask, "Show me where my boundaries need fortifying and grant me the courage to hold them." Boundaries go beyond saying no. They're about deciding which energies you allow into your space. Perhaps it means limiting time with negative influences, silencing calls or notifications from an abuser, or refusing to share personal dreams with habitual doubters. Your future growth depends on an environment that nurtures, not undermines, your aspirations. Your ancestors can also warn you when you're about to break your own boundaries. Maybe a sudden heaviness strikes as you consider responding to someone who once exploited your empathy. That's your sign to stand firm. True compassion includes telling yourself, "They haven't changed and I can't carry them." This resolve is an act of self-love that your ancestors applaud. When unsure how to handle a past manipulator's approach, lean on spiritual practices. Light a candle or breathe deeply. Honor your lineage. Call out names you know, or simply summon, "My wise forebears." Let their presence fill you, reminding you that resilience runs in your blood. Then, if you do engage with the manipulator, you do so from a place of ancestral might, refusing to let your boundaries weaken. Your ancestors also guide you toward the right mentors or resources. Maybe a book on emotional intelligence or a trauma healing workshop catches your eye. Don't dismiss it as random. They often use mundane channels to accelerate your growth and fortification. Each skill you refine, such as conflict resolution or gaslighting awareness, becomes another shield, preventing you from being blindsided by sweet words masking harmful intent. Ultimately, your heritage forms a living tapestry of strength behind you. By aligning with it, you transform solitary battles into a collective victory. Even if you stand alone physically, a vast spiritual army has your back. Combining that ancestral power with clear, unwavering boundaries ensures no manipulator can sabotage your future blessings. You're not an emotional doormat or their psychic lifeline. You're a fortress sustained by the unstoppable collaboration of your ancestors in your awakened will. Chapter 6. You're closer to a massive upgrade. Don't let this distraction break you. Every time you near a high point in life, a big blessing, promotion, or deeper spiritual awareness, a last-ditch distraction appears. It might be an ex texting, "I miss you," or a friend enticing you into drama. You see now, these aren't coincidences. They're orchestrated efforts to derail you from the abundance right within reach. Often the biggest test arrives just before the breakthrough. If you cave, you sabotage your blessing. If you stand firm, you catapult into blessings, overshadowing every past struggle. So why now? They had plenty of chances to treat you right or change. Their sudden return signals they sense you're stepping into a realm they can't follow. Stirring your emotions to stall you is the devil's ploy. Don't fall for it. Don't confuse their reappearance with a fresh start. While forgiveness might be necessary for your own freedom, that doesn't mean re-entry is. Boundaries remain vital. Practical tactics help you stay rooted. Keep a journal of the steps you are taking toward your goals, reviewing it daily to reaffirm your commitment. This clarity reminds you that drama is a distraction is not a path to resolution. You also need to double down on your spiritual routine, prayer, meditation, or whatever keeps your discernment sharp. The enemy is cunning. If your daily practice slips, you risk illusions creeping in. Call out every red flag at once, naming it for what it is, a trap. Remember, you stand on the brink of a once-in-a-lifetime pivot orchestrated by God. Don't let emotional baits sabotage your readiness. Each time you resist their pleas or manipulations, you break another link in the chain that once bound you to despair. In so doing, you keep your path open for the unstoppable upgrade. Your future is so bright, you'll be amazed it's real. Chapter 7. You are fully authorized to close this chapter and step boldly forward. You've reached the point where you can seal that door behind you, definitively and without regret. You've absorbed every possible lesson from the heartbreak cycle, given chance upon chance, and prayed endlessly for their growth. Now God hands you the baton for a new life chapter. Your ancestors have prepared the path, given their blessing, and cheer you on. All that remains is your unwavering choice to stride forward and never look back. Nostalgia may surface, recalling the person's better side or evoking regret at how it ended. That's natural. Emotions don't disappear overnight, but you're a chosen one, anchoring your decisions in spiritual insight rather than fleeting moods. You recognize the real cost of returning, health compromised, destiny derailed, possibly harming your lineage's future. Each wave of longing must meet the truth. I've outgrown that realm, and my future is more valuable than temporary comfort. Moreover, the universe has already affirmed your departure with new blessings or connections. Freed from the old cycle, you notice each day's synergy intensifying around your goals. Illusions that once confined you lose their grip, overshadowed by tangible progress and positivity. Without that toxic loop draining you, you're free to invest in a new career path, a deeper faith practice, or the simple joy of creative pursuits and healthy friendships. Your ancestors remain vigilant, yet they won't babysit you. Their rescue was meant to end in your transformation, not repeated setbacks. So if you feel tempted to re-engage just to see, remember the depths of pain in that loop. The next round typically escalates. Darkness rarely returns gentler. That spiritual principle reminds you, second guessing is often a Trojan horse, letting harmful forces re-enter. Walk forward with confidence. Each step away from exploitation is a step into self-honoring. Soon you'll see your environment shift, unexpected job offers aligning with your dreams, new allies appearing, tasks that once drained you now energizing you. That transition from mere survival to genuine enthusiasm signals a chosen one freed from exploitation. If guilt resurfaces, quell it with gratitude for the wisdom, bled from heartbreak and errors, that taught you to detect manipulation subtly. Now you embody resilience for others who see your journey, showing that no pit is too deep to escape. Your personal triumph thus ripples into a wider blessing, a hallmark of the chosen path. No shame in celebrating. Some may misread your relief as arrogance, but the nights of tears more than justify your victory. Embrace it. Let your laughter fill this new territory. Your ancestors are done watching you languish in sorrow. The time has arrived for you to embody joy, power, and unstoppable momentum. This new season demands your attention. Old baggage can't come along, so stand tall, bid a final farewell to the closed chapter, and stride boldly into the destiny your soul always knew was on the horizon.